Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the PGS session at the Prime Forum. We are soon start. I think our producers can please put the slides on the screen. Good, thank you so much. Welcome everyone. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from the Prime Global community. My name is Paulo Spironi. I am the coordinator of Youth Leadership and Innovation at the Prime Secretariat, and I'm honored to be here today with my brilliant leaders, regional leaders team of the Prime Global Student Initiative. We are celebrating 1 year anniversary. We were launched last year during the Global Forum, and this year we celebrate a year of driving global cooperation among students. So how the session will take place today, tonight, depending on the place you are in the world. We're going to start by a recap of our first year. Then each one of my dear colleagues will present the 7 strategic projects on the PGS portfolio. Then we're gonna celebrate this amazing team that is ending their cycle this June, and we're gonna announce the new team of regional leaders. So let's start the show. So as you know, PGS Prime is the largest organizing network between the United Nations and management-related management-related higher institutions. We have 880 signatories spread across 99 countries and more than 16 regional leaders, regional chapters, and 9 working groups. But the most important number for us is that Prime is also a community of 4 million students. And we have thousands of sustainability-oriented student organizations within our community. So these organizations are taking action now. They are driving change in their campus and beyond, and they are engaging in an ecosystem with various players. So Prime understands this power. Prime recognizes these thousands and thousands of local actions. The question was, how can we provide them a global infrastructure that connect these players, and by doing so, we empower and leverage their impact on the ground and globally. So that was the purpose, that was the spirit behind the PGS idea. As you see, one of the first directions we took was let's build a team of powerful students, powerful youth leaders all over the world that will help us create Prime Global Students. So I'm so glad to be sharing the stage today with Sofia Martinez, our representative in Latin America from CETES, Mexico. Alice Félix from McGill University in Canada, our PGS regional leader in North America. Anna Curve from University of St. Gallen in Switzerland, our regional leader in Western Europe. Christina Tukina from Ranepa, Russia, our regional leader in the Eastern Europe. Jan Vidoshi from American University of Sharjah, our regional leader in the Middle East. Raketi Kuria from Strathmore University, our regional leader in Africa. In Asia, we have Yash Shukla from the Gold Institute of Management in India, representing the Central and South Asia. We have Li Yang for Peking University in China, representing the East and Southeast Asia. And finally, we have Shruti Verma from Deakin University in Australia, representing Oceania. So thank you very much, PGS regional leaders. Each one of you will soon talk about the different portfolios. And please, producer, can we come back to the slides? I still have a few comments to do before passing the word to our colleagues to introduce the portfolio. So this group of amazing people that went through our community, mapping and engaging the students' organizations all over the world to co-create Prime Global Students. So we have a collaborative phase and a research phase and a design phase with more than 65 participants from 25 countries. These people came together to co-create their own network. So the users, the final users in one sense, were the builders of the network. So two major outcomes from this process. First, we defined three fundamental pillars, three pathways that this international group of students wants to walk together to empower the student organizations: awareness, advocacy, and collective action. From these three pillars, we together built our portfolio of projects. We have 7 projects to address the goals behind each one of the pillars. Some of you in our audience might be asking, okay, but how can I engage my student, or how me as a student can engage with PGS? So there are 2 ways of engaging. You can apply to become part of the PGS Regional Leader team and the Global Task Force, because each one of the project has a task force of people designing and developing and implementing this project. Or you can be a user. That's as important as the builders. So please be sure that all the project, all the tools are open for your participation. So if you want to promote something on social media, talk to us. And if you want to join the careers program, talk to us, and so on. Okay? To finalize, it's important to understand that PGS is not a space within Prime to foster youth leadership, but also it is a movement driving students to occupy other prime arenas. And I'm so happy that many of our chapters, working groups, and champions are welcoming students in their activities now on. So let's talk about the portfolio. We have 7 projects to introduce, and each one of the coordinators will take the lead, starting by the Student Ambassador Program. So Sophia, can you please explain us the program?
Thank you, Paulo. So to start, I'm going to talk about the Prime Ambassador Program. Can we have the slides back on, please? This program started as a pilot in the Latin America and the Caribbean chapter, driven by the 2 regional interns at the time, Tony and Beatriz. Its main goal or idea was to allow students to gain knowledge on the work and presence of Prime in order to strengthen their communities and generate relevant experience in the field of corporate sustainability and responsible management. Mainly, the program consists of 10 weeks with the purpose of preparing students for the advancement of the SDGs under the Prime Initiative, where we offer lectures from pre-selected topics that affect the region in charge and a space or platform for ambassadors to develop ideas, strategies, and proposals to take actions against or towards those topics. The Student Ambassador Program in Latin America made an impact on 21 students from 8 countries and 4 schools of the region, where some of them are right now engaged on PGS task forces. This just shows the impact and the motivation from the students to be agents of change. Also, the program was assisted by 6 prime working groups, which developed topics such as anti-corruption and bribery, gender equality, and much more. As of right now, the idea with the creation of the PGS task force is to replicate and roll out the program in different chapters. And right now we're working with the chapter France Benelux, engaging 6 prime working groups around the topics of climate change and environment, sustainability mindset, sustainable finance, and more. Also, we are making an impact on 20 students from 7 different universities and 15 nationalities. This shows that we have students from the region and international students. So, what is the future, or what do we expect from the program? As mentioned before, we would like to offer it to more chapters, gaining more ambassadors, resulting in more action around the globe. Also, we expect ambassadors to be a part of the PGS projects and expand the knowledge of the work of Prime around the world. On the other hand, we expect that the solutions or proposals resulting from the program are implemented in their communities, making a great impact, empowering students in their role as change makers. Of course, it will increase the promotion of sustainability agencies within different regions and motivate or educate more students and how they can be part of this effort. Now, let's listen from Alice. She will speak to us about the Careers Program.
Our next initiative is the PGS Careers Program that was led by my colleague Raquel and myself. And the main idea when we started to brainstorm about this initiative was that there were a lot of students from all across the world interested in pursuing careers in sustainability. And there were a lot of job opportunities in sustainability, but there wasn't any connection between those two. So we wanted with our PGS Careers program to really bridge the gap between those 2 points. And so alongside our colleagues, Bruno, Joy, Genevieve, Peter, and Christine, we decided to focus on 4 core pillars, which are a mentorship program, a career fair, career opportunities, and company engagement. So for our first pillar was the mentorship program. And the idea behind that was that students that want to engage or pursue careers in sustainability don't necessarily know what to study, where to start, and sometimes need a role model and a peer that can help them in this journey. And so our rationale behind that was to connect students with professional in relevant industries and fields that they're interested in so that they could ask questions and guidance on their career journeys. The second pillar is a career fair, which is basically a display of companies and industries and fields in which sustainability can be embedded to show students the different paths they can take. The third thing, is career opportunities that we're going to develop in collaboration with our friends at PGS in the newsletter and the social media teams. And for that, we want to gather career opportunities from partner companies and mentors and share them with our broader student audience so that when they're looking for a job in sustainability, they have plenty of opportunities in front of their eyes. And finally, our last pillar is company engagement. And for that, we want to tap into the UN Global Compact signatories to share opportunities and be able to connect to those students. And now I'll pass it on to Shruti, who's going to talk about the student voice at PGS.
Thank you so much, Alice. Hello, everyone. My name is Shruti Verma, a PhD student from Australia. Today, I'm thrilled to be joining at this forum in the capacity of PGS Regional Leader in Oceania. I'm also leading another key PGS portfolio called Student Voice at the PRME blog. As many of you might already know, the PRME blog, or formerly called Prime Time, has been operating for over a decade now and shares crucial developments in the area of sustainability and responsible management. The Student Voice is a bi-monthly student column at this PRME blog that particularly brings the student voice to the forefront. In the past 6 months, myself and my team members from across the globe, who you can see on your screens, launched and curated this portfolio to link students' voice in the realm of sustainable development with that of the work of academics and other institutions in this area. The PGS portfolios are underscored by 3 fundamental pillars of awareness, advocacy, and collective action. The student voice at the PRME blog, falling under the advocacy pillar, attempts to transform the talk to the walk and the words to the real actions. While harnessing the strengths of an established and reputed blog, the Student Voice column provides a specific platform for the students to share, learn, evaluate, and innovate ideas related to the sustainable development and responsible management. This unique space allows for student engagement, promotes student autonomy, and creates avenues for collaboration and plan impact. More recently, we achieved an important milestone by launching our first post introducing the Students' Voice, PRME Global Students, where we presented PGS and connected readers with our mission and values. We are loving the feedback so far, and we urge students, academics, and other interested stakeholders to come forward and share their questions and ideas. so as for us to learn and bring issues like students addressing the key sustainability challenges, preparing students to inspire a better future, etc., to the light. Finally, to all the students here today, I would like to say that we hear you. We are prepared to amplify your voice and reflect on your needs and ideas through our Student Voice column in an elaborate, thought provoking, and responsible manner. Thank you so much for listening, and I now pass it on to my wonderful team member Anna, who will explain the work that they are doing in their portfolio. Thank you.
So much, Shruti. Students in their organizations around the world are recognizing the urgency of tackling our climate and ecological crisis. Many of us might feel alienated by the seeming lethargy of the system in addressing these challenges and feel compelled to take a change ourselves. In the process of doing all the much needed work, at times we might find it hard to step back and reflect on the consequences of these actions and the associated opportunity costs. Journey for Impact matters because it invites us to pause, reflect, and measure our impact, which we might find helps us gain clarity on how our work adds value to its recipients and plan how we could take our impact to the next level. PGS Journey for Impact recognizes and celebrates the power of these student organizations and supports them in their desire to measure, plan, and maximize the impact of their organizations.
Exactly. Now, to make this vision a reality, we first sought to better understand the needs and experience of student organizations when it comes to measuring their impact. We talked to organizations across continents and countries of the PRME Global Students Network and listened to their journeys thus far. We quickly realized that there is no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to impact measurement. Student organizations vary in their projects and scale and impact their contexts in completely different ways. We also learned that these contexts are complex and impact cannot be reduced to quantitative factors alone. Qualitative information, such as through stories, is just as important. Based on these learnings, we want to create a Journey for Impact written guide that is co-creative and open source. It will showcase different approaches to impact measurements and invites student organizations to imitate or adapt the one that they think works best for them. Later in the year, we want to bring this document to life through a workshop series where students can directly apply the guide and share their experience with each other. Outcomes from the discussion can then be added again to the written guide. Above all, we want to accompany each other on our learning journey of how to measure, shape, communicate, and celebrate our impact on the world. At PGS, this is what we consider to be our shared journey for impact. And with that, I now hand over to Christina, who will talk about how we carry our programs out into the world through our social media channels.
Thanks a lot, Anna and Janvi. And well, working and interacting with students from different countries is always a challenge. And our team includes participants from different countries, from Peru, Bolivia, Kenya, Russia, China, and Philippines. So cross-cultural management in this case includes not only time management, but also interpersonal interaction, which is important. During these 6 months, the team has been creating and maintaining PGS pages on Facebook and LinkedIn, defined and developed a marketing strategy, and published more than 50 posts. The results of both campaigns are presented on the slide. The social media team encourages interactions with all students, their organizations, and other stakeholders through social media, as it is a fast and reliable source of dissemination and receipt of information. And most importantly, it's universal for everyone. The main purpose of positioning in social network is to attract an audience and to familiarize users with our movement. Therefore, it is the work of student organizations that should be positioned, their interaction with each other, with non-governmental and governmental organizations, with business partners and non-profit organizations. Further, and over the next 15 years, PGS social media marketing is going to be developed, and it will develop a network of institutionalized processes where student organizations will be able to distribute best practices through our channels to the globe world. So please follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn by pointing your cameras, phones at QR codes on the slide. And if you have any events or practices to share, don't hesitate to contact us also via email. And now I'd like to hand you over to my dear colleague, Yash from Newsletter.
Thank you, Christina, for inviting me. The first step towards change is awareness. When PGS decided to start a newsletter, we knew exactly what we were attempting: awareness, transparency, and information for everyone. We wanted to give a platform for global students and organizations to promote their work, accomplishments, as well as spread information about various student opportunities, events, and activities happening at their organizations. We incorporated sections like PGS Talk, Student Spotlight, Opportunity Wall, Growth, Global Events. We featured some great stories about student, organization, and their journey, and their work towards sustainable and responsible future. We also featured some student leaders and their achievements. I still remember the day when we started working on the first newsletter, the draft, when I sent to Paulo. And it was a great feeling to send the newsletter out there and spreading the information to various students and engaging with them. So as I look at the future, I see it very engaging and collaborative. I would like to invite each one of you to contribute and engage with the newsletter by sharing opportunities, events, and achievement at your student organization so that we can spread information and get people onboarded. Now, passing on to Marco, let's see the PGS talks.
Thank you, Yash. Hi, everyone. I'm Yang Li Marco from Peking University in China. I'm the coordinator of the PGS Talks. In our group, we have 5 members from 3 countries: China, Philippines, and Australia. PGS Talks is a task force to serve student organizations from prime community. In the last half year, we have played 3 important roles. First, we are the partners. We call for student initiatives from Prime Chapter and the working group to co-organize the events that matter to our students. And also, at these events, student organizations can voice their ideas and promote their initiatives. Second, we are also the connection within the Prime Global Student Network. We connect students around the world to regional events that are organized by student organizations. We help student organizations promote their call within the Prime students community and recommend distinguished speakers to their events, empower their panel, and enlarge their regional positive impact. Besides, we also organize our own events. We conceptualize, brainstorm, and design the event made for our global students. For example, our flagship project is the 4th Prime Global Students Annual Summit on June 14th. The summit will bring together young leaders from the academia, private, nonprofit, and public sectors to discuss the most relevant and pressing challenges our planet and society are currently facing. And we also build the solutions for the betterment of tomorrow. Next Monday, we will publish our summit agenda. And we have prepared for the registration link. And Paulo, please put the link in the chart. And please feel free to register for our summit. You can also follow our social media and register there. And we are very much looking forward to meeting you at the PGS Summit 2022. Now I will hand the piece over to Paulo. Please, Paulo.
Thank you so much, Marco. Thank you so much, my dear friends and colleagues, all the PGS regional leaders. I needed to say that while designing this session, I was overcome by joy and gratitude. Like, I'm so proud and honored by everything this team accomplished together in the past year. Not too many months ago, PGS was only a name for an idea, right? And now it has become a global network, an international community, a comprehensive infrastructure with strategic projects being led by young leaders in a collaborative way. So all these young leaders all over the world are navigating this ship forward together. For this reason, I really, really would like to express my deepest gratitude to all the PGS regional leaders and the task force members. We have 42 people developing from 18 different countries, developing the 7 strategic projects. So the PGS regional leaders and task force members made everything possible with their commitment, energy, efforts, and above all, their expertise, because these students are experts on what they are doing. They set that fundamental stone for a bright future for PGS. They are empowering, and their work will keep empowering other students all over the world. So they must be proud of it. So with that spirit of gratitude and recognition to lead us to the end of our session, let's listen to the PGS regional leader final message, starting by my dear friend Alice from Canada. Alice, please. Let's the producers bring you in the stage. One second, Alice is coming.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, here we go.
Perfect.
Thanks. Let's go, Alice. Please start the final message with you.
Thank you, Paulo. So I think that as we also, students have a key role to play in advancing responsible and sustainable practices in the next 15 years. And I think this role really starts within their own university. And we really hope that PGS will empower and inspire students from all across the world to become student leaders in sustainability. And we really want to give them the tools necessary to challenge the status quo and open the dialogue with their professors and advisors to transition towards more sustainability into their curriculum. And I'll pass it on to my dear friend Anna.
Thank you, Alice, and thank you also, Paolo, for your kind words. If there is one thing that I learned through my journey of student engagement, it is that our perspectives as young people matter and are needed in our organizations, schools, and their networks. At PGS, we set out to co-create a global network which truly meets the needs of student organizations, and it is us students who know best how to make this a reality. Even if the organizational structures we find ourselves in might not always recognize this, let's continue to share our perspectives and raise questions in the next 15 years of student engagement in and beyond PGS. Over to you, Janvi.
Paolo. Today, students are vying for change, and in 15 years, I think sustainability will not be a strategy for branding, but a part of everything we do. Responsibility for others comes from reflection and taking a step back to understand the true extent of our actions today. I believe education in 15 years will definitely encompass these qualities more fully and become hubs of innovation, making students more well rounded, compassionate, and results oriented for the betterment of planet Earth, amidst the competition bringing order to scattered ideas. I'll now hand over the floor to my dear friend Christina.
Thanks, Janvi. In the next 15 years, I see a grandiose strengthening of the role of students on the basis of universities and national institutes of each country. And the PRIME and PGS community will expand their impact in the universities all over the world, whose students will become part of important sustainable changes in their localities. So today's students who are already part of this sustainable movement and responsible management movement, they will work for the next 15 years to improve the well-being of their countries and help to achieve the sustainable development goals. And now I'm passing the floor to my dear colleague, Li Yang.
Thank you, Christina. Hi, everyone. I'm Marco. I'm Li Yang. I want to say in the next 15 years, the world will have a more drastic change. We don't know if it will be positive or negative. But I believe if we, especially our youth group, give more attention to SDGs and take actions in responsible management, our world would probably have a more positive change. And our generation will be well memorized in human history because we acted. Now I will hand over my piece to my colleague, Yash. Yash, please.
Thank you, Marco. So for the next 15 years, I see PGS bringing up more responsible and conscious leaders. As Mahatma Gandhi rightly quoted, be the change that you wish to see in the world. Each one of us has the power and potential to change the world. With PGS, when the PGS was started with a dream to empower students and their voices, make sure your voices are heard, make sure that you help and uplift others with your efforts, and make sure to be a responsible and kind leaders. With this, I would like to pass to Anna.
And I'll pass it straight on to Raquel.
Thank you. What I'd say is our actions matter. And we are standing on the work of the people that have come before us. And I can imagine that even them, if they were to look forward, they couldn't imagine that their actions would have such an impact or would continue to build forward and grow to what it is right now. So I would stand here and tell you, your actions matter. As a member of a student initiative, as a person with an interest in sustainability in whatever capacity that you are in, your actions matter, and it leads to change and it leads to growth. I'd like to pass it on to my colleague, Shruti.
Thank you so much, Raquel. For my message, I'll utilize the words of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General of the World Trade Organization, who said that education is a privilege, and with that privilege comes responsibility, the responsibility to use it for the others. So I hope that in the next 15 years, through PGS and Prime, student leaders and student organizations are empowered and enabled to make responsible decisions for and by themselves, which allows them to make a positive difference in the communities. Thank you, and I'll pass it on to Sophia.
Thank you, Shudri. The role of students is evident and it will never go away. This means that the motivation, the desire to move forward and create something will always spark students. So the main challenge in the next 15 years is to empower them. Let them know that they are true change makers and that without them, no development can be done. I can say that student agency will only grow and gain more impact through the years as a result of initiatives such like PGS, which work to make students know they are taken into account and inspiring. Now, let's hear the closing from Paulo.
Thank you so much, my dear friends Alice, Anna, Janvi, Christina, Raquel, Shruti, Sophia, Youngli, and Wash. As I said, it's a pleasure and an honor that our lives cross in the PGS journey. As I spoke before, we built the boat, we set the stone for the future of PGS. We now have the three clear pathways: awareness, advocacy, and collective action to walk together. It's important to everyone to understand that listen to the PGS regional leaders, we see that the value of PGS goes beyond the numbers of student organizations reached or countries or who are important numbers, but I also want to bring the qualitative aspect of it. By listening to them, we can see how PGS matched their life, professional, and academic journeys, and how can we aggregate value to these students, and how through their work, through their commitment, they could aggregate value to the students and student organizations on the ground. So the majority of these students come from business schools and management schools, where they are talked about competition, how I differentiated my product, my service from my competitor, right? And that's the world we live, and this is important knowledge they must host with them. However, PGS brings a different opportunity, not only for the regional leaders, but also for the task force members, to obtain and develop a different set of skills: empathy, adaptability to diverse, from cultural backgrounds, to adapting your schedule for different time zones, the value of working in a collaborative way. The academia calls some of these skills the 21st century skills, and they are becoming even more important in today's world, facing all the challenges we have and all the global issues. This generation is leading and driving change. So I'm so glad that we could provide these students a different lab on their academic journey. And they are doing that not only for them, but also for other students around the world, and for the students that will come in the next years. So I'm so proud of our spirit. I'm so proud, team, again, of everything we create. I'm so proud to see the value of the growth of our network, but also the value of how it is shaping each one of you, and today and for your future. So thank you again. And I'm so glad also and delighted to introduce you some of our new colleagues, the 2022-23 PGS Regional Leaders. So in the last 2 months, we have been taking a comprehensive and careful selection of leaders. We were able to select 6 of them. 3 are under final selection on final interviews. So we have again a powerful, diverse group of students from undergrad, graduate, and PhD levels. So we have Vinata Konda, I'm still working on their names, from George Mason School of Business in the US. George Mason is a prime champions. And Vinati will be representing North America. We have Takwa El Forjani from the Leeds University Business Schools in the UK, who will be leading the relationship in Western Europe. We have Bassem Eliwa from the British University in Egypt, who will be leading the Middle East and North Africa region. We have Yu Al Yush, or Alex, as he likes to be called, from ESSEC Business School in Singapore, represents the East and Southeast Asia. We have Siddharth Shaushan from XLRI Janaspur from India, representing Central and South Asia. And finally, we have John Lee Young from the University of Melbourne in Australia, represent Oceania. We are still in the final selection for Latin America, Africa, and Eurasia. So you listen to our journey this year. We are celebrating our first anniversary. We have now, after a comprehensive collaborative global development process, 3 fundamental pillars and a portfolio of projects. But above all, we have new regional leaders, we have new task force members, and the future of PGS is bright. And I want to call everyone to the screen for a final goodbye, a final photo. So please turn on your screen. Let's take off my slide. And on behalf of Prime, the Prime community and the Prime Secretary, thank you so much, my friends. You made it. And I'm so happy to see we all together. So I will kindly invite us for a digital applause. So if you can join me, please.
Thank you, Paulo. Thank you for our PGS family. Thank you for our Prime family.